Hello guys, this is Avcoor, and let's talk about this is our first look at the new heroes. What I will say is so far so good. People have their complaints about them, but for the most part I'm pretty satisfied with this aspect of the game. I think when you look at Archeland and their approach to character design, it's really good. It's just there's other aspects of the game that need to be improved. So let's get into it. Let's look at the first, who is Morgan. So, so this is my first impression so far on the character. I don't think that she's going to replace Lena in PvE content for the simple fact there is a mechanic in Lena's unique passive that allows her to attack and move. And when you're the wizard version of Leon for Landgresser, that's a hard act to follow. What I will say is when we look at it, she does have healing in her kit. So of course she's a water element, she's a wizard. And she does a lot of damage. And she heals when she's attacking. So that is a lot of HP that she's healing. Top tier units that we can go to my 6566.
이곳은 영역계 적 작업 부서다.
So we look at overall HP. That's half the HP that my best tank has. Because when you add this up, it's roughly 9,100, what, 9,163 HP. Not, yeah, 9,163 HP. So she's healing half of that with an attack, but we have to assume that is at 9 stars instead of the 3 that you'll get her at. And her damage is pretty solid. That's a lot of damage. A lot of AoE damage, actually, too. Excuse me. And she has Armor Shredder. And we notice that the cooldowns drop on her skill. So she does a lot. And look at all those crits. Either that's in her kit or her overall stats, the fact that she can crit that high. That's a lot of crit. But she doesn't cure stats. So she heals HP. She does massive amount of damage. And she cycles through cooldowns. So that's her in a nutshell. I think she's good, but we're going to have to really look at her in depth to see if she really holds up. Because I have a rank 7 Lena, are they going to really make me want her over a rank 7 Lena? I doubt it. So let's go to Delilah. Delilah's a pretty old character. Older than actually Morgan. But I talked to a guy on YouTube, pretty knowledgeable guy. And he said he actually wanted to build this character as a rogue for DPS. Because she's a dark rogue. But I thought about it and he's right. But on the other hand, we'll get into it and I'll explain it better there. So at we notice right now that she is not using the rogue dagger that she had. This is what the guy was complaining about. He said basically they changed her class, but we already see she's dealing like fixed damage and a high amount of fixed damage. That is really good for a tank. As you can see, she's a red tank. We'll talk about that after the video is ran. So my first impression is she going to replace Billet? That's the question I ask as a PvE player, and I'm going to answer that as this video begins to roll again. First of all, she's not dealing crit damage, and you wouldn't expect her to do that as she is a tank. But look at the amount of fixed damage that she did, though. That lets me know that she's made for PvP content. If you're dealing that much fixed damage, that's insane. Let's go back real quick. Look how much HP this dude lost. Look how much HP that dude lost. That's a lot of HP. And this is a very important aspect right here. A lot of you already know that Electo is one of the most premier PvP units in the game. If you looked at the championship battle, everybody had Electo, and she was like a first ban because she does so much fixed damage. This character actually counteracts that. But the thing that gets me is she is a red unit too. Like, if you would use Sigheart in a pick ban list, nobody really used Sigheart. But if you use someone like Firebow, like Silva, wouldn't that make you more inclined to use Electo? And wouldn't you ban this character out and you still could use Electo? I just think it changes the ban pick. So she took stats. Is that what happened? Let's check. All right. And she deals burn damage. So the first thing I notice is she's more of an active unit, and less of a reactive unit. Because someone like Belette is a enemy phase unit, as some of her best effects occur when she's being attacked as opposed to when she's attacking. If you see me play Belette, I rarely use any offensive skills on her, if ever, unless I'm actually forced to be creative. So in that aspect, this lets me know that she is a pure PvP tank, as they show her doing damage. They do not show her taking hits, and that is a concern for me. Even though she is a tank, there are there is there are tank builds that make the tank less sturdy. Like if you play Richard, there are ways to play Richard more offensively, but you do sacrifice a lot of bulk. But some people prefer to play him that way because sometimes in the ban pick, you always don't get the units that you want, and you're forced to play certain units in a different way to throw off your your enemy and the overall strategy they will implement against you. So in that respect, I think her design leans more to offense, and I don't know if that's good for a tank or not. Like some of the best tanks like Gabriel, Arena, Catch are really passive on some level. they don't really attack much. Some of their best skills are reactive. Like some of Catch's best skills are she attacks before you attack her, and therein she stops you from double attacking her, things like that. And I did not see that in her kit, so that makes me wary of the character. But more inspection is needed. But so far, I don't think she's replacing Ballet. Only in PvP, but not in PvP content. So we got that. We got her weapons. Mm. Let's see if we can translate this. So there's no translate. Let's see. Let's see if we can do Google Translate. Though there's no translation on this. Let's see if we can go to the other site. See if we can get a translation on their kits. If we can't, then we just can't, and that's fine. Wow, this one seems to be a little behind. Let's go to announcements. Let's go to this. Let's see if we can get the overall skills on these characters. So let's see if we can do it. Korean. All right. So Morgan Le Fay. So her characteristic is Crystal Ice. After casting an active attack or receiving a support type skill, acquire one stage of Master Magic Crystal Shield status. Oh, single attack range +1 when level 3 Magic Crystal Shield status is accumulated. Magic Crystal Shield increases damage dealt by 4, 6, 8, 10%. That's really good. And reduces damage by 4, 6, 8, 10%. That's really good. So far, this thing is really awesome. She's looking really good. She's looking better than she looked on the display. Because this is a big problem with wizards. They're so darn squishy that it's hard to use them in PvP. At the end of action, restores HP of 1, 2, 3 allies with the lowest HP on the battlefield when the skill was used for this action. Recovery amount is one time of the caster's liquid attack power. Wow, that's really good. Wow, that's really good. This is a very competent cat. So first of all, all you have to do is cast attack and receive a support type support. Like you get a buff. You acquire one stage magic crystal shield, and you increase your range after 3 stacks. But as that is going on, you're increasing your damage and reducing your damage taken. Excuse me. Very clutch. Very clutch. And it only gets better when you realize that she's actually healing every time she uses a skill. So she's pretty much like Chris. So this is like a better version of Chris from Landgresser. So, but the problem is you have to use a skill. So I think like you're better using Hourglass on her. Heart piercing crystal. Cooldown 3 turns. That's pretty crappy. Uh, it only costs 1 though. That's okay. 2 spaces. It only costs 1 though. Attacks a single enemy dealing 1.4 times damage. Increases magic penetration by 12%. Whenever you have at least one stage. Oh, that's pretty darn good. Wow, that's good. 36%. Wow, you're ignoring 30%, 36% of the person's magic defense. That's pretty darn good. Cold Snow Rain, Consumption 2, so that's a 2 cost. Cooldown 3, which sucks. Range Self, that kind of sucks. 4 times 3 squares in a straight line. Inflicts 5-point damage to all enemies within range and applies weakness. Status lasts for 2 turns. If there 3 or more enemies hit, a 1-turn cooldown is applied to any non-cooldown active skill. That's really good. That's really good. That's better. So I accept this cooldown. That's fine. If you're taking the cooldown of your other skills, which this is a one cost, that's really good. That's some synergy right there. That's some synergy between these two. Knowledge. After an active attack, grant inspire status to all allies within 3 blocks. Last 2 turns, water attribute allies gain an additional ice shield status. Activates every 1 turn. Damage plus 10%. Ice shield reduces damage received during active attacks by 30% while in combat. Oh, that's really good. This is something that if you play Lohanes, he has that. So if you play Lohanes, you know that this is really solid. It's only on water units, but when you think about it, Cat, Charlotte, Coil, Jen, who else is? You got Cat, you got Charlotte, you got Coil, and then you have Avia. So wow, that's really good. Yeah, so this is really good. So that's really good. So this is her rage skill. Excuse me. Sorry. Moonlight Curse. Cooldown 4. Mm. Consumption 2. Cooldown 4. Range 2 spaces. Single target. Attacks a single enemy, inflicting 1 point. That's a high multiplier. 1.8 times damage. And applying before battle seal. After 2 turns. After battle, acquire the status magic boost. Last 3 turns. Okay. Requires 1 rage for each. Okay. Seal is good. Magic upsurge. Changes the normal attack factor by 1.3 times and reduces the cooldown of all active skills by 3. Oh, that's pretty freaking boss. So, yeah, that's pretty darn good. Um, you have to build it up though. You have to take a hit, toss a hit, but once this thing kicks in, magic boost lasts 3 turns. So you actually can loop this. Change the normal attack factor so you multiply your normal damage by 1.3. Reduce the cooldown of all active skills by 1 turn after an active normal attack. This Moonlight Curse is actually a well constructed skill. So she can buff, heal, and attack. The damage buff is really freaking sweet. So this is a very complete character. Very complete character. Wow. Let's see what Star of the Blue Sea does. So okay, zlonggames is learning magic attack plus HP. So they're learning. When possessing magic crystal shield, magic attack power, and magic defense power increases. Wow! By 5%, immune to status reduction type, and when magic crystal shield status is 3 levels, healing. Wow! Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, this is a really good character. Let's see what they say about her. Morgan Le Fay, whom the strangers have been waiting for, will finally join the Celestial Content as a water attribute mage. Morgan Le Fay has powerful single attack and specific secondary abilities. Among her priority skills, Magic Crystal Shield can enhance her offensive and defensive abilities while simultaneously healing her ally with the lowest HP. When a certain number of Magic Crystal Shield is accumulated, the range of her single attack increases, and she can also enhance the magic penetration ability of her single skill, Heart Piercing Crystal. In addition, when Morgan Faye's range skill Cold Rain hits 3 or more enemies, the cooldown time can be added to any of the skills of the enemy's hit, and Curse of Moonlight skill can reduce own skill cooldown. While destroying the enemy's attack rhythm, you can enter combat more quickly through skills. Yeah, that's a wow. Wow, she may not break the meta, but she is freaking strong. We'll see where she like sits at, but she's freaking strong. Good grief, she's freaking strong. All right, so Delila is a fire tank, spear, and shields. Ghost of Hell in combat. Wow, really? In combat, damage reduction is increased by 5, 8, 11, 50%. That's, oh man, that's fucking, oh wow. This is what we've been waiting for. Like, a lot of the tanks have damage, physical damage reduction. Like, Richard has physical damage reduction, Catch has physical damage reduction. She has flat DR on both magic and, and physical. That's really boss. So already she's looking pretty tanky now. After inflicting damage, grants the target a 1 to 2 stage stigma status. Stigma. At the end of action, receive physical damage once. 50% of the caster's physical defense amount of stigma level cannot be removed up to 7 levels. Wow. Very simple yet effective kit. Wow. So she's doing fixed damage. Man, so Melissa's been totally cut. So this is like the tank that I envision Melissa being if you really spec her right. But heck, she's totally cocked. She's been freaking cocked. So she's got flat DR and she does fixed damage. Man, combined with Silva. So Silva might rise in like the PvP rank. So we'll have to see that later on because of this character. Wow, she's a good tank. So Charlotte gets better, Coil gets better, Catch solidifies her position, Avia gets better, um, Jen gets better, uh, Richard's cocked. Richard's been severely cocked. He's been like cocked. Who else has been cocked? But with like Hazel would never like be close enough to her to get hurt if you play her right. So Hazel would never get close. But something like Krilla would be hurt. Who else would be hurt? And and Yig, so they're suffering. Pipette suffers because of this character. So she's gonna shift the meta definitely because she just has a simple, easy to use kit so far. Enchanted Heart area receives attack on behalf of an ally within one block. What inflicts zero point 0.5 damage to all enemies in range and increases escort range by 2 spaces. Creates soul shield area in a range of 2 spaces around you. Lasts 2 turns. Soul shield counterattack range +1. All allies within range receive fixed damage. Oh, this is the one that we saw in the video. Okay. So not only are you dealing damage, but you actually escort. You move into that escort phase, and you get soul shield area, which excuse me, this reduces fixed damage. This is amazing. Her kit so far is really good. So Fire Dragon's cucked now. She's cucked. Electo, she got cucked. This is a hard cuck. Wow, that's hard cuck. Ugh, that's brutal. Because not only are you dealing damage to characters in range, so she's still dealing damage and getting into guard, and she has passive, and she has counter attack range +1. Yeah, that's really good. She's getting so much out of this. Wow, that's really good. And that's consumption 2. So that's costing you. That's your 2 cost. Excuse me. Thorn swing 2 cost. Cooldown 2. That's pretty good. Cooldown 2. But oh, so this is the line AOE. So inflicts zero point 0.5 damage to all enemies within range and applies ignition stigma status. Last 2 turns. Receive 1 physical damage at the end of action. 50% of the caster's physical defense. Wow. So you want to stack up her defense as high as possible. So she's wow. And you get ignite and stigma. That's brutal. Wow, Thorn Swing. This is brutal. There's going to be a way for you to get around this, but that's brutal. If you just flat out land the attack, that's brutal. Oh wow, what a great tank. This is a great tank so far. So this is her one cost. When attack increases own damage reduction by 10% and removes 2 enemy buffs before battle. Activates once per turn. So this is really good. It's kind of like Richard's passive where he reduces where he increases damage reduction by 10%. But you're stacking that on top of Ghost of Hell. So let's not like look at 8 or 11 or 15 because that takes a lot of ranks. It's not and not everybody's a well. So look at this 5. So that's 15% damage reduction. That's before you even put in ranks on her. On one attack, she's reducing it by 15%. And at max value, she's reducing damage compared with this by 25%, which is absolutely amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Wow, that's really good. Convocation of Souls. Cooldown 3 turns, range 2 spaces. Upon active use, gain True Soul status. Last 2 turns removes 5 buffs from the target and gives the target an evil spirit state. When used on a non-boss character, True Soul increases all stats except HP by 50% and recovers 20% of one's max HP at the end of action. Wow. So this is 2 turns. Wow, that's really good. Decreases all stats by 50% physical damage once at the end of action. 100% of the casters. Dang! Oh my god. So there's ways to get around this because this is too busted. So they're gonna have ways to counter this. They have to. They can't just let this character break the meta again like Lancelot. I hope they don't. I hope they restrict this. I hope this is not as bad as it looks because like when I do some of these videos, I kind of overhype it, and then like with Electo, I didn't overhype it, and she absolutely broke the meta. So looking at this, I mean, Electo's Electo, Silva, and this character, they solidified Red as a PvP faction by the simple fact that they did fixed damage. Kind of the way that Catherine back in the day solidified Dark as a PvP faction because she did fixed damage, and you really can't block that. But now they're creating characters to block fixed damage because fixed damage is such an issue. Zlonggames, if you ever played any of their games, they're big fans of fixed damage for whatever reason. So when I look at this, I get kind of scared because they really don't restrict the power of fixed damage in any of their games. So we'll see where this goes. But this is looking really good. So we'll look at the last skill, Burning Onslaught. This is another 2 cost. And the cooldown is 2. This is only 3. And this is only 2. This is only 2. The cooldowns are much lower, which the lower the cooldown, the easier it is to use. Alright, attacks a single enemy, dealing 1.5 damage, recovers 50% of one's max HP after battle, and inflicts a wow. Okay, so this is where Richard took all that damage because he took 3 stacks of stigma. Okay, so wow, so stigma is that potent. Wow. Yeah, and notice that these characters have more unique skills than the other characters that we usually get. Because usually we only see 3 or 4. They actually got 5, so that's really scary. Let me see. Does she have 5? 1, 2. So no, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So she only had 4. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah. Wow, we haven't even got to her unique weapon, and she's got a leadership skill. Wow. So leadership skill, Soul Match. Leadership skill activated when Delilah and at least one warrior or priest. So this is really easy to meet. So this is super easy to meet. Physical attack, power, physical defense power, magic attack power, magic defense power of all allies increased by 10%. When fighting enemies with stigma, damage increases by 8%. When using a single skill, recovers. Wow! Oh wow! Really? Oh man, come on, dude. Come on. That's not okay. So let's look past all this stuff that everybody gets. So when fighting enemies with stigma, which you could easily drop like at least two characters with Thorn Swing. If they play Take Push, you can easily have two characters with stigma on them. So you can easily get stigma on at least two characters in a PvP match. So when fighting enemies with stigma, your damage increases by 8%. So usually with leadership skills, most good leadership skills just give you a 10% damage increase based on certain conditions. So this is based on stigma, which is very limiting. But your team leader, who has this leadership skill, is dropping stigma on people anyway. So she can do that with just attacking people. So she can just attack people and drop stigma on them. And if she actually tanks and counterattacks at range, she's dropping more stigma. So you increase your damage against those units. And when you use a single target skill recovers a maximum HP by and recovers your maximum HP by 50% after battle. Excuse me. We're looking at the next silver as far as team leaders go. So we're looking at the next silver right now. Silva Firebolt, as they call her in Korea, made her name because she allowed every unit with her team leadership skill to get fixed damage. So she's allowing every unit to use a single target skills, whatever, to recover their max HP. So these characters actually play well off each other. So that's really broken. So let's look at her exclusive weapon. So of course they're learning their lesson. Physical attack, HP, two best stats for a weapon. No way. Okay, let's go. No way. Recovers 8% of one's max HP after receiving an attack. That's gay. Oh wow, that's weak. Come on. So she's probably the best tank in the game so far because she has so much sustain and damage reduction. So my first assessment of this character was absolutely wrong. They gave her everything she needs to be a good tank. She's got a distance counter. She has fixed damage stacking. She has damage reduction, and she recovers HP. That's gay. Gives the target one stage of stigma status. So this is basically two combined with her unique passive. Last two turns increases post battle recovery by 60% when attacked by enemy with stigma status. Activates twice per turn. That's gay. This is gay. Come on, dude. I mean, this is broken. This is absolutely broken. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's absolutely broken. That's broken. After inflicting damage, Delilah, a tank with fire attributes, can give the enemy stigma status, allowing her to deal additional damage after the action is over. The skill Real Enchanted Heart can reduce fixed damage of allies within 2 blocks by 100%. The Soul Convocation skill can strengthen your own stats while weakening the enemy stats. Allies damage will increase if you boost her defense as well, because her fixed damage is based on her defense. Wow. So we got to take a look at her overall stats. Maybe they give her really, really high defense and they shank her on magic defense, would balance her out. And I think that's the right way to go. So when these characters actually come out, I hate to say this, but my hope is they reduce her magic defense because she is already really strong just from what we're seeing right now. So they're going to have to find a way to neuter her because that's not fair. Because I'm already building arena and I'm a tank player and I am like, wow, I'm a it's going to be hard because wow, yeah, I'm a tank player. So I mean, I already have Ballet though. Man, that hurts. Let's keep going. Night tournament, new season. So there's a new season on King's War. Oh, so we get Under a Nightmare? Okay, we get Under a Nightmare. That's really good. I like Under a Nightmare. So we get Devil's Card Game. Okay. Stimulant, event exclusive items. Through this event, you can exchange. Okay, do a time. Key of Celestial World Diamonds. Okay, so this is good. So bonus dice festival. We always have that. Cat's die. Okay, so we have Time Illusion, Do Accessory, Soul Stones of Creation. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we get cumulative gathering event, gathering code, but that's not a lot. I mean, when you think about it, that's not a lot of content to me. Like, I know they're gonna promote PvP because PvP is probably the only way this game is gonna be saved. Under a Nightmare is good, but I hope they have some more content. They have to have either story content or they have to have some more dimensions. Because that's not going to be enough content for me. So this is Dice Festival. That's like you just roll dice and all pickup events and complete a certain number of times to. So we have to see what that is. Uh, Pledge update. Uh, that's not new content. It's not really content that I'm interested in. Okay. In addition, the new updates people now please also some new addition features for optimization. Added the ability to change heroes' equipment and runes during the battle preparation phase. Okay, so this is really good. This is something they should have been done. So I like that. Like, especially for guys like me who play harder content and where if you use certain heroes, you can't use them again. This is really good. So this will help me in Ominous Dream. So this will help everybody. This is really good. Added a daily fixed unexpected counter where you can acquire gold upon clearing. This unexpected counter is created regularly every day and is created when 15 HP is consumed after logging in. You mean 50 stamina. So this is really good too. This is something that we need because we always need gold. The event remaining time notification function has been added. The remaining time information text will be changed to red 3 days before each event ends. Really good. The content within Secret Boundary is divided in daily, challenge, and limited according to each type. That's really good. This is really good. That's really good. Added must drop reward. An ominous dream. Added must drop reward preview. Chest to shadows and ominous dream. We're gonna have to check that out. We're gonna have to check that out. In the final stage of Ominous Dream, if there is a hero who died during battle. After clearing the pop-up windows saying hero died in this battle can no longer be used in Infinite Dream. The hero died in this battle and can no longer be used in Infinite Dream is not displayed. Okay, that's a quality of life fix. We gotta check what this one means. I don't really know what that means, but I'm a big Omnis Dream player, so this interests me greatly. So optimization related to Province Land, this was very necessary. Downgraded required conditions for quest of God's Pattern Vigilant Shooter. Okay, so this is if you do the requirements for to get the SR scrolls for shooter, you know that the requirements are pretty tough. This is really good. Increase the amount of gold that can be attained from desert gold type quests. Okay, this is really good too because I do that all the time, and so should you. Optimization of displaying relevant red notifications when the subjects are available in the academy. This is really good. Profit adjustment for each product in the directly managed store. Okay, let's see. Smooth latte. Increase gold. That's good. Nature currency is more important, and the magic power going to 0 is great because nature currency is more important. Rune earrings. 20 gold is more important than magic powder, so that's good. This going to 30 is good, so yeah, they understand that magic powder is not that important. Thank goodness, because it's not that important. So gold. This is really good. This is really good, but the nature currency should be increased. This should be increased to 7, and magic powder should be dropped to 0. Nature currency 4. Ah, I'm pissed. Increase nature currency, damn it. Okay. Torture light. So this is good. This is better because nature currency is so important for us to get gear. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, zlonggames. These are really good adjustments, but I don't think the content's enough. This is the problem I have with this. So, under Nightmare, you'll see I play a lot, but I do not think that it is enough. They better drop some dimensions or some story content because that's not enough. I mean, it's a lot to do, but it's still not enough. So this better be something because I'll be pissed. So far, so good, guys. But some of the most important takeaways from this is the optimization to Omni's Dream because they realize this is a breadwinner. This is actually really good. This sadly as a player, this excites me more than the characters. The ability to change your equipment and rooms before battle preparation and PvE content, that is so important. Because later on in the game you have like so many powerful heroes, but you don't always have powerful gear. The ability to change that makes it a lot easier. But I like the fact that they have illusion of time due and accessories. That's really good. So the dice festival, like time illusion due accessories, soulstone's creation, that's really good. And yeah, this is really good. I just hope they have some more content. But I know they're focused on PvP because that's something that they think is going to work for them, and it will. As far as these two characters go, obviously, the whatever Delilah. I'm saying Delilah. That's what she was named first. Is actually the clear winner. If you don't think so, you can challenge me in the comments. But Morgan Le Fay is really good, but I don't think she's meta breaking. But she's really good. And sadly, I hate to say it, but I won't summon for her. All my tickets are going to this character because even though I won't build her immediately, she is a down the road project that I am actually excited to do. But if you like my content, hit the like, share, subscribe button. Sorry for being too long, but there was a lot to go over. Have a great day and goodbye.